The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Josh Kagawa from Vaultoro.
Howdy ho, folks.
Theo Goodman from Proof of Work Media.
Good evening, everyone.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue 1. Bitcoin adoption on hold. Major exchanges like the Malta-based Binance have seen a slowdown in Bitcoin deposits. These lack of deposits combined with a decrease in web traffic can mean only one thing. The general public is not buying Bitcoin, and they are not the ones leading this rally. Theo Goodman, who is buying Bitcoin? And is it good for Bitcoin?
Nobody knows who is buying Bitcoin for sure. That's the whole thing. I mean, you can speculate on who's buying Bitcoin on what exchanges. Now, the article says that there's a decrease in Bitcoin deposits. So why would I deposit Bitcoin at Binance or another exchange? Well, I would deposit Bitcoin to sell it normally, right? So that means there's actually less sellers. Now, in some cases, you would, of course, at an altcoin exchange, you would deposit Bitcoin in order to buy an altcoin. So there's less interest in trading cryptocurrency in general, they claim, which is true. But a lot of times, this is actually not unusual if you look at the bigger scheme of things, because who makes the market up? Who's the market? Humans, a bunch of humans. What time of the year is it? Well, it's summer just ended, basically. So it's summer. So of course there's less activity in the summer. Of course, trading volume goes down every summer. It sounds simple, but people also overlook this. So there's that aspect of it. Also, as far as altcoins are concerned, well, guess what? Humans have another weird thing. They like to buy expensive things. And altcoins are down right now. But if they were to go up and get expensive, then a lot of people would want to buy them. So they're saying that there's not a lot of retail interest. Retail likes to buy expensive things that are already going up. They're not the kind of people that buy things that are already down and trying to scoop up the best price. The so-called retail usually buys things that are already really expensive. And they're at the end of a cycle, not the beginning of a new cycle. So so some of the things in the article that you posted are correct in that way, but I just have a different way to look at it. It's not good or bad for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin regardless.
Josh Kagawa, sell in May and go away.
Yeah, the cycles are definitely in. You see this nice going across for a while now. We've been really side trending for a while. With the massive ups and downs of crypto, I guess traditional traders wouldn't see that as normal ups and normal sideways movement, but in crypto it is, and I think people are slowly buying. I think we see institutions now slowly buying. We see people slowly buying. But yeah, Theo's very, very right. People love buying expensive stuff, and I've seen it with just the normies out there. They don't pile in when it's nice and just steady and even. They start piling in when it's going crazy and it's all over CNBC and all the lamestream media.
Well, and that's exactly my fear on this, Josh, is that the normal people are not going to get into Bitcoin, and they're once again missing one of their all-time great chances to get their hands on a little bit of Bitcoin. I think we're seeing a lot of adoption by banks, by trading houses, by futures, by all of these advanced contracts, and that's great. And that's going to adopt a certain kind of high wealth individual who's already doing well and is going to use Bitcoin to make them do much, much better. I just think, once again, it's a great chance for normal people. If you haven't told your friends, it's really hard to get them in because it's 10K and it used to be 3K, or that it's 10K and it used to be 300, or whatever it is. It's impossible to convince them, but it was impossible to sell them at 300. It's impossible to sell them now, but have them think down the line, if this trend continues, what will it be like at 100K if you didn't even buy $100 worth? So I definitely think that people should be trying it out. Moving on to the exit question. Why are people not buying Bitcoin? Are they scared by price movement or ignorant due to a lack of education? Theo Goodman.
Because it's too boring. It's not funky enough. It's not sexy enough. There's no cool art, music, weird things. There's no Pokemons. There's no green frogs. It's not collectible enough. So we need more crazy stuff. And that's going to bring a whole new segment of people. Like you said, there's like trading houses. People that are into trading already know about Bitcoin as an asset. Doesn't mean they're massively buying it, but they know of it. Yeah, I think anyone interested in financial things knows what Bitcoin is somewhat right now. Now, what's the next group of people? Okay, well, think about, collectibles, think about games, think about all that kind of stuff where crypto, blockchain, something could all play a part. That's like a whole new segment of people that could get involved. And they're not going to get involved because of price action and that kind of stuff. They might later learn about, they might later get interested in that, but think they're going to approach it from a different way. Yeah. Or as usual, people buy it when they're in pain, when there's already a financial crisis and they have to. That's just how people are.
Josh Kagawa, same question. Why are they not buying? Is it price movement, ignorance, or will they only buy when they're in pain, as Theo says?
I don't know. I think people are buying. I mean, if you look at, there's 12.5 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, 10 minutes every 20. We're looking at 1,800 per 24 hours. That's 10,000, $18 million per day has to pour into this thing just to keep it up, just to keep it floating. People, it's to say that people aren't buying it is, I think, a little bit wrong. I think people are buying it, but the speculators aren't pushing the price. They aren't jumping across the chasm of the spread towards towards the sellers, and they're just sort of staying there at the moment.
Well, sure, somebody's buying it. Let me get my checkbook. Hold on. Moving on to issue 3, issue 2. Bitcoin is not bulletproof. Mark Mobius, the founder of Mobius Capital, believes that the Bitcoin blockchain is fallible and that it can be broken into, saying that anything created by man can be broken. And if it were broken, it would cause a major crisis. Josh Kagawa, is Mobius right? Can Bitcoin be hacked?
I mean, Bitcoin's built on a very, very well understood bunch of math. The math, the cryptography that Bitcoin is sitting on is quite old. I mean, the hash functions are quite well understood. There aren't any, and the game theory has been tested for the last 10 years. Look, the thing is, SSL, after what it was like 20 years, was found to have a bug in it, or something like that. I think it was SSL. But it, so sometimes these things do pop up. Yes, Bitcoin could. I feel that it's improbable, and most programmers will never say impossible for that exact reason. And it's just like a cheap headline. These sorts of things are cheap headlines, like, oh, it could be broken. Yeah, no shit, it couldn't be broken. Of course it can be. And he's right. But it's improbable.
Theo Goodman.
Yeah, I'm going to echo some of what Josh said. You know what his main argument is? Bitcoin can be broken into because it's made by humans. That's really a great argument, don't you think? I'm scared. Not really. I mean, it's just like, like, what are you can't argue with that. I mean, of course, okay, yeah, great, you win. So what? I think he just from the tone of what he was saying, I don't think that he really gets it still, but he's kind of, I would call him Bitcoin curious, crypto curious. He's like, well, this thing, yeah, but it still could break, and what if we had like a gold-backed crypto? And I don't know. It's like, and he's right. He is right about it's still risky. He's like, yeah, we all know that, there's all kinds of things that can happen, or the wallets can mess up, and there's a lot of stuff to learn. He kind of mentioned that too. And I would say that's true. It still is risky. There's a lot of risk, and it's hard to assess the risk. It's not like a traditional, it's not as easy to assess the risk of it as a traditional asset, you know? So that's true. But with great risk comes great reward.
It's certainly nice for him to say that all things built by man can be broken by man. But if we really look at it, it's not just about that it was built by man, it's that it's encryption. And the way that encryption works is, sure, you could guess the password. And if you could guess the password once per second for 1 million or 10 million or 100 million seconds, that you could eventually crack the password. So in that way, he's right. You could break it that way. But the way he's looking at it the other way, where he's looking for a backdoor or some kind of failure in the system, if they really use the math, if they really calculate it out, there is no room for the back door. And that's what this argument keeps coming up when people like the NSA or the FBI are saying, Apple computer, you should put a back door in your encryption. Facebook, WhatsApp, you should put a back door in your encryption. And they say, well, if we do, first of all, someone else might find the back door. You also might misuse the back door. But more importantly, the math just doesn't work if you start including backdoors, and someone's going to go down it step by step, and they're going to be the one to find the back door. So it's another one of these things. We really can build things that can't be broken by man, except they could be broken by man with a quantum computer or a DNA computer or one of these more advanced computing things. But even then, we're talking about a brute force breaking by guessing all the passwords and being able to guess passwords faster rather than a backdoor type solution, or a mistake, which is what he's saying. If you built a safe and part of the wall was weak, that would be a mistake, but you just can't really make that mistake with this kind of math. So moving on to the exit question. The media is ignorant to many important computer science concepts and thus cannot communicate them in the required detail to the general public. How can the level at which the media discusses topics like technology be improved? What can be done to help the public understand difficult topics like encryption and why it matters? Josh Kagawa.
Well, the first thing they can do is stop saying blockchain without a without the blockchain or a blockchain or blockchains. Stop saying, I really like blockchain. Like, what do you really like database? This is stupid just stop it. Mainstream media, and stop it in the crypto space too. I've been saying this for, like 8 years. Stop just saying blockchain. It's ridiculous. It's the blockchain or a blockchain, blockchains. That would make it easier for people to understand. Because look, let's stop talking about blockchains in general anyway, even if you're going to say the word blockchain. Start talking about cryptocurrency. Now, people understand currency. How many times do you need an immutable database per day? You wake up out of bed and you go, I think I need an immutable database right now to brush my teeth with. Like, how many times on the other hand, do you need money? Quite often, right? The cryptocurrency is what's interesting. Blockchain, not so interesting. That's my rant. And it'll make it a lot easier for people to understand.
It's all about the database. That girl's got great database. Theo, same question. How can we teach the media, preferably in rant form, about blockchain? Your response.
Thomas just said that girl's got great database. Okay, everyone, that was a moment. Okay, so so the media, you guys and girls in the media, what you should do first, you should subscribe to World Crypto Network and start watching the real old videos, and then just watch them, and then you will learn. It's 100% free. Just give us a thumbs up and put your comments below. Besides that, like what Josh said, you don't wake up in the morning and say, I need an immutable database. You might say, I need some money to buy stuff that I need Bitcoin to buy with, that could be, or they understand money. And, I also think there's potential with, collectibles. Like some people might say, okay, I wake up in the morning, I want money. Some people might wake up and be like, okay, I want a crypto kitty, or I want a green frog, or some weird shit like that. And that's still, so what that does though, is that teaches them about a bearer asset. Now you also don't wake up in the morning and go, I want a bearer asset. All a bearer asset means is that it's something that if you hold it, you control it. And a digital form of that is pretty cool, because the Pokemon is not like that. It's on the centralized database. But if you figure out if they have that experience where they're like trading weird stuff like that and it's a bare asset, then that's easy for them to jump on the analog of money like that, in my opinion, for some people. So I think that's like an entry level drug for some people.
The media needs to take computer science classes and learn what encryption is. Then maybe they'll understand what Bitcoin is, but it's going to take a long time, and nobody's got that time. Everybody's in a hurry. Are you in a hurry? That's why you should subscribe to the World Crypto Network podcast on Apple, iTunes, and all the other places where podcasts are served. Check it out. We've got brand new episodes. Give us a thumbs up and a share and a review on Apple Podcasts, the World Crypto Network. We've got a podcast. Moving on to issue 3. Bitcoin is not a currency yet. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Square and Twitter, and frequent topic of conversation on this show, is back in the news again this week. And again, he's talking about Bitcoin. The outspoken Bitcoin advocate told the Australian Financial Review that it's not functional as a currency. The peaks and troughs are like an investment asset and are equivalent to gold. What we need to do is make it more usable and accessible as a currency, but it's not there yet. Theo Goodman, is Dorsey right? Is Bitcoin not a currency yet?
Twitter is not a social media platform yet. It's pretty good for doing some short-form trolling. I just offered anyone one worthless shitcoin for a retweet, but you have to be following me. It's good for that kind of stuff. It's good for flexing your muscle a little bit on social media, but it's not really functional as a real communication medium. No, I'm just I don't know. I think that Bitcoin is a hybrid, and I don't think it mattered. I mean, some people, what does he define? I think we need to have confirm our definitions, because some people have different ideas of what currency should be. There's a lot of school of thought that says currency shouldn't have a hard cap. So Bitcoin is 21 million. There's a whole huge group of people that say, no, that's never gonna. You can't have a currency that has a hard cap. So it should be like Doge or something where there's always more. You have like another camp of people that are, more on the like gold and store of value, and that is money. And there's like money and there's currency. There's a lot of heavy definitions that you have to really break down if you really want to get into it. But let's think about who's talking. He's talking about his interest in his companies that he's trying to build shit for. He's like, this technology doesn't quite fit my startup. My investors are kind of stressing me out. So guys, I'm going to start using my social media platform to say this shit is kind of broken. So it kind of like, you guys move this open source thing to like fit my company's needs a little bit more. If you would do that, that would be great. Thanks. So I think it's a little bit of that. He might not even be consciously doing that. I think everyone does that a little bit from time to time, especially because, like I said, they're under pressure from their investors, and they have this company. They're like, shit, yeah, but I want cheap transactions. They're like, because I built my whole thing, but well, that you don't get a free ride. You were never promised that from Bitcoin. You see what I mean? So it's kind of complicated. That's how I think it's kind of complicated. And I think that maybe he should just do a blog post about what he thinks currency is.
Unfortunately, there are no blog posts yet on Twitter. They're still working on that feature, but it's coming soon. I think first we have to go back to the roots of the word currency. The word currency comes from the word current, which is, of course, the river, and the river is constantly flowing, like the ancient philosopher said. And we have to remember that currency, what he's talking about, is money that moves. In that way, Bitcoin is not really currency. Bitcoin doesn't really move. Bitcoin's not cheap and easy to move, as opposed to the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network, when you have those Bitcoin Lightning tokens, whatever they're kind of calling or whatever they are, you can really have them flow and move easily. Then it'll be more like currency. I think Jack is more saying inspirationally here, Bitcoin, you could be a currency. Bitcoin, you're almost a currency. Someday, Bitcoin, when you grow up, you'll be a currency. And yeah, I agree with Theo that it would also work really well with Square and Twitter if Bitcoin was a little more of a currency and a little less of a digital gold, because it's not so much a thing where I can slice off a sliver of that digital gold and give it to you as a tip. Whereas if I have a token or a Doge or whatever and it moves fast, it could be tipped easily. Josh Kagawa, your thoughts on Jack Dorsey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he hasn't come out with Twitter coin or something like that. You know, he is sticking with Bitcoin. He is talking about Bitcoin a lot. He's supporting the Lightning Network a lot. And yesterday, I actually paid my beers with the Lightning Network. I actually did a submarine swap because my channel was kind of empty. And I talked to Christian over there at Room 77, and I sent him an on-chain transaction for $20, and he's filled up my channel with $20 that he already had in a Lightning Network. And then I could really quickly pay per beer over it. And it was amazing. So this nonsense about not being a currency, I don't buy it. I think, you know, I was talking to, I was going to name drop here, Andreas, my mate Andreas, last year. And I was talking to him about volatility. And you know, one thing that he said, which was really interesting, and I've got the video on my channel, on the Voltoro channel, is about basically if you have 1 foot in the crypto world, in the Bitcoin world, and you have 1 foot in the fiat world, you really feel the movement. You really feel the ups and downs and the volatility. So it's a very, very hard thing to deal with that as a currency. But if you are fully in crypto, and I've been fully in crypto for a very long time now, then you get paid in crypto and you pay people in crypto, and you stop sort of feeling that as much. Of course, you do feel it, but stuff sort of flows. Like you said, Thomas, it's a current. So if you're paying me, I get it, and then I pay it pretty quickly on, and yeah, you might get some fluctuations there. But you know, there's kids that were born in 2009. They're like, you know, 10 years old now, that are so used to maybe this sort of thing. If their father or mother was into Bitcoin, they're so used to this volatility that they would even just think, wow, what are you in US dollar? What a boring, that's not a real currency. A real currency moves up and down, and you sort of have this fun speculative side to it as well. No, but I really like the idea that if you really go full all in, you don't feel the volatility as much. Of course, you still do it over time. Like if it's going to be a 2017 to end of 2018 drop, of course you'll feel that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. The price of the goods you need to buy are still going to fluctuate. You're going to get less hamburgers than you would before. Moving on to the exit question. Does Jack Dorsey actually believe that there is a Bitcoin 2 that will surpass the original, or is he just giving a little tough love to his favorite open source monetary system? Theo Goodman.
He must be having a romantic affair with someone into Bitcoin. It's the only logical reason. No, I'm just joking. Someone else said that a few weeks ago, and that was like, that was pretty over the top. I think he's just giving tough love. And like I said, I think a lot of startups get frustrated when it's kind of like trying to fit a square in a circle, and they thought they could just kind of mold it, but it didn't really quite work out like that. So actually, they're the one that has to change a little bit, and that's how it is.
Josh Kagawa.
Yeah, that was crazy how you know, the Bitcoin.com or Bitcoin Twitter handles said something about a relationship, and then all of a sudden, whoop-de-woo, the account gets changed. That was quite something. But yeah, you know, it's I think it's only a matter of time until more of this technology becomes superfluous with normal smartphones and everything else. And I think the off ramps won't be needed as much anymore, or the on ramps. So the Square and all that, maybe he's protecting himself.
I agree with the panel. It's tough love. And no matter how much Jack Dorsey tries, he just can't get Bitcoin to change, no matter how much of his love he gives, even his great, giant, rich corporate love. Moving on to issue 4. Ecological disaster. As we've discussed many times on this very program, if you multiply the amount of energy Bitcoin is currently using by a larger number, you will get a still larger number. But wait, actual information from the field a domain most people call reality, shows that the amount of power used to mine Bitcoin has actually decreased while the hash rate has continued to rise, thanks to new, more efficient miners with 3/4 of Bitcoin's power coming from renewable energy sources. Josh Gagala, I ask you, is Bitcoin an unmitigated ecological disaster?
The biggest waste of energy in the world is talking about how Bitcoin is a waste of energy. I think that's probably the answer to that one. But actually, it's been like that for a long time. It's been the fact that miners, and I know a fair few serious miners, their whole shtick is to look for renewable energies because they're just cheaper. So they head over to Iceland and they try to find water flowing or winds blowing or thermals under the ground, pushing upwards. And really the cheapest source of energy you can get is just the heat underneath the ground. And I think Bitcoin is forcing the exploration of these new technology, because really it's an equation. You say, if I can get this much energy out, that it can convert to this many rare numbers that I can find, and that equals this much, with a little bit of speculation on the price, of course, for a miner there. But the speculation really is about how can I reduce the amount of energy, and at the end of the day, that's what it is. So of course it's going down. Of course it's going to get better and better in terms of renewables, and we might find a little side, a little dessert from all of this, is that we find better energy sources for the rest of our lives, not just mining.
Seems like Josh is frozen. Theo Goodman, are you still with us, or am I frozen?
Test. Do you hear me? Do you hear me, Thomas? I think Thomas is frozen for me.
Yeah.
Well, we're just going to keep going like everything is normal, and I have no idea if it is, but I'm going to, if everything is okay, I'm going to agree with Josh. He said pretty much.
Video unavailable.
Are you back? Thomas, are you back?
I believe we're back.
Okay, I'm going to start over. Which? Rewind. So rewind. I agree with Josh. I can't say it any better. Actually,
the video is private.
I don't know if we're live, but we're improvising. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Live.
If you want to know about the efficiency of the Bitcoin mining, you can check out CoinShares. They did a good report about it. I don't know if Nick Carter did one or if he was just analyzing the CoinShares report, but that basically said what Josh was saying, is that Bitcoin miners want to find the most efficient electricity they can find, because it's typically the most cheapest. Of course, corruption can lead to really cheap electricity as well, but not in the long run. In the long run, you're going to have to find the most efficient things, and Bitcoin mining is going to help us do that. So that's good. And even now, we're seeing media talk about it using less electricity. Thomas.
It's another one of those great stories, like the way that marijuana doesn't cause cancer, the way that tobacco causes cancer, where the media just keeps getting it wrong. Bitcoin might actually be good for the environment. Like you guys are talking about, the ability to take, instead of an expensive to produce and frankly bad for the battery, bad for the environment battery that's made out of lead and is full of toxic chemicals, and dragging that up to wherever the hydroelectric dam or the windmill or whatever is going to be, you could take a Bitcoin miner. You could mine the energy right there, turn it into Bitcoin, store the Bitcoin on a USB stick or a Trezor, send it out to the company. The company could start using those funds right away, much in the way that the Apple Card was bragging on TV, that you get your rewards immediately. In the same way, if you produce wind power, turn it into Bitcoin, and your company has the Bitcoin in their account, they can start using that money immediately to buy more windmills or to fix the existing ones or whatever it is. It's an instant pay system. It's renewable. So yes, Bitcoin, the scourge of the environment, the thing that will destroy us all, will accidentally end up saving us all, just like all the other things that actually cure cancer instead of cause it. So, but let's move on to the exit question. Bitcoin is the infinite jest, the golden goose, The thing that is so desirable that we will use up all of the resources of the planet to mine it. Yes or no, Theo Goodman?
Yes, Bitcoin was placed on the Earth by aliens in order to extract all value from Earth into outer space.
Josh Kagawa?
No, we're going to go back to 1 mega hash. No, of course, I'm joking. We're going to mine. This thing's going to keep on mining until it's down to the Satoshi, and people will still be trying to get that little last Satoshi.
Theo Goodman is correct. How could it be topped? The answer is yes. We will eventually mine all of the world's resources. We will start calculating resources in Bitcoin. That's why the price of Bitcoin is infinity, as called by Mad Bitcoins oh so long ago. Moving on to issue 5, bonus issue. Trade war over? Representatives from the United States and the People's Republic of China spoke in phone conversations recently, and the outcome may be positive. The two allegedly plan to meet in mid-October to finalize the deal. As many have noted, Bitcoin's brand is chaos, and the Trump-caused U.S.-China trade war has certainly caused its fair share. But it may all be over, and before Christmas, too. Fat fucking chance. Josh Kagawa, if the trade war ended, would the price of Bitcoin head for the hills, giving back all recent gains and entering a downward spiral?
I mean, I don't, trade wars never stop. Globally, the trade is always at war. You're always trying to find a better deal. You're always trying to make deals. You're always trying to get an advantage over one country and that country, and then you end up making friends. It's a fluctuating thing. It's always in flux. And look, they've better start cooperating with the Chinese, or the Chinese better start cooperating. I mean, Chinese have been taking the piss out of America for a long time, out of the world, actually. I mean, they've just been taking the piss out of their own citizens by making labor so cheap. They're extremely powerful now, so they can sort of call the shots. And America's holding on to the dream that they can call the shots, but actually China can. And I do feel if they do meet, there'll be some theater, there'll be some cameras and some smiles and some handshakes. But at the end of the day, it's really businesses that will decide and bankers that will decide. I think Trump is the puppet that will send the message to the world in his funny little way of doing it.
I agree with Josh. It would be great if we could change our relationship with China, if we could get them to respect intellectual property rights, if the same factories that were pumping out Titleists by day weren't pumping out fake Titleists by night, and not exactly just machined the same way, but then filled with fake stuff on the inside, not the same materials, but the exact same coating on the outside, so they look the same with the brand and the trade dress. It would be great to have these kind of agreements with China. Unfortunately, I don't think that's what we're going to get. This haphazard back and forth, all raise on you, you raise on us, all raise on you. We're all destroyed at the end of it. We're all going to get exhausted. Businesses are going to be ruined. Soybean customers are never going to come back. Contracts to China are being taken up by Brazil and other countries. What we're going to get is much like we got with the big NAFTA negotiation. Trump got rid of NAFTA, the North American Trade Agreement with Canada and Mexico. They replaced it with near NAFTA. It's the exact same thing as NAFTA, but he calls it better and he says it's new and it's good. It would be great if the trade war ended by Christmas, but I think it's very unlikely. I like the optimism of this article, though. Theo Goodman, your thoughts on China and the U.S.?
I don't think this whole topic has any impact on Bitcoin price at all, actually. But it does create jobs because someone can write about it. And it's very clickable clickbait. What is very true is the whole political situation U.S. has been a job machine, job creation machine as far as media, because everyone loves to click on all these kind of topics. And they just circulate like crazy on Mr. Jack Dorsey's platform and everywhere else. So I think that this has pretty much absolutely nothing to do with the Bitcoin price. Very hard to correlate something, in my opinion. It's very well, by the way, there's not as much corn produced this year, but maybe there's going to be some people that buy Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know. Could be. Maybe. I don't know. There's a new kind of Pepsi out. The Bitcoin's going up, It's and it sounds more realistic because political stuff, big power, China, Bitcoin, everyone, Bitcoin mining in China is going to take over. And now a trade war. Now it's going to be what's going to happen. Click my article now. I don't think that it really has a big impact, but it's summer and you got to write something. And there's not a lot else going on. And someone will click it. So why not?
Well, I've got to get that new Bitcoin Pepsi. That sounds great. Bitcoin Pepsi. Moving on to the exit question. Josh Kagawa, the price of Bitcoin this time next week, higher or lower?
I get a feeling it's going to be a little bit lower, actually. Just to have this massive bump up this week, almost hit the top of the 11. They're these round numbers, dropped now 5.5% today within a few minutes. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But of course, there is no such thing as a magic 8 ball. Actually, there is such thing as a magic 8 ball. So yeah, I think down.
All right, Josh has got down. Theo Goodman.
I'm going to go for a new option that I've never said before, and I'm going to say exactly the same price.
Oh, Theo goes with a push, the weakest of all options, the no change. Josh mentioned it. We are going to use the magical Bitcoin predictor ball right here. This is a World Crypto Network exclusive. Will the price be higher next week? Better not tell you now. So the ball will not speak. I, of course, think the price will be higher, but that's generally what I think. I don't know anything about charts and channels and trades, but the ball won't speak to you now. So tune in again to the World Crypto Network to find out what the magical Bitcoin price predictor ball thinks. It's been right every single time. And the times that it wasn't right, it also predicted that. Moving on to predictions or story of the week. Theo Goodman, are you ready with a prediction or a story of the week?
Well, yeah, you put me on the spot. I'm not ready, but it's okay. I'm always ready.
We can pass.
Prediction of the week is that that Mad Bitcoins is going to come back to Europe, and he's going to go to several crypto conferences and meetings, and within that, I'm going to meet him a few times.
Wow, it's a good prediction. Theo's going to meet Mad Bitcoins. Josh Kagawa, your prediction or story of the week?
Yeah, I mean, we at Vaultoro, we've been working really hard because for the last 5 years, we've had the same platform trading only Bitcoin and physical bullion and back, so people can trade without these ridiculous tethers and stuff. And we've for the last year been building Vaultoro 2.0 with a brand new interface, a fast trading platform engine, and some more pairs for all the people that like alts to trade as well. So it's really exciting. Plus negative trading fees, so people can actually earn trading fees. So the market makers earn half of what the takers pay. So if you don't like paying fees, then that's going to be there for you. So that's my prediction this week. We will launch it. We weren't meant to launch it yesterday, but there was some fine tuning to be had. And when you're dealing with crypto, it's too slippery to release something unfinished. So it's testing, pen testing, and more pen testing.
All right, very cool. Looking forward to Vaultoro 2.0. And remember, at Vaultoro, you can back your Bitcoin up into gold. So you can hold a little bit of gold, so you can hedge in the gold market instead of hedging in the USD or the Tether or the stable coin or whatever. You can actually hedge in the thing you want to hedge. So like Theo said, I am going on tour again. The Mad Tour 5 is happening. We're going to London, Prague, Cluj-Napoca, and then Berlin, and then Birmingham. So those are at least 5 Bitcoin and Lightning conferences that we're going to go to. We're going to try to bring the board, the video camera, the streaming gear, and network cable, all these things. We're going to need everything to broadcast at all these locations, but we're going to try to broadcast and record interviews, bring it all back for you here on the World Crypto Network. So remember, when you're donating, Some of it goes to gear, some of it goes to flights, some of it goes to bringing this content back. But check it on the website. We'll be going to HCPP, the Hackers Conference in Prague. We'll be going to Transylvania Crypto Conference in Cluj in Romania. Then we're going to the surprise. We're going to be at the Bitcoin Lightning Day in Berlin. It turns out Romania is not in the Shenzhen zone, so that doesn't count against my days. So I think I have enough tourist days to go to Berlin. So I'm trying to make that happen. I remember if you want to donate, flights are expensive, but we're doing this anyway because we want to maximize the amount of conferences that we can cover. So Lightning Hack Day in Berlin, then back to England for BitBrum in Birmingham. Be sure to sign up. It's around November 1st, and it was to be the date of Brexit, and now we don't know. And that seems to happen every time I go to England. They're supposed to Brexit while I'm there, and then they don't even bother doing it. They keep pushing it down the line. So who knows? Maybe this will be the one. Also, if you're in any of these areas, please support your local conference. We probably have tickets left for Transylvania Conference in a couple of weeks here, probably less than that. We're going to the Ugly Old Goats Working Man Bitcoin Cruise. It's going to take out of Los Angeles to Mexico. It's only a couple days. You can do it on the weekend. Sign up for that. Hang out with Max Hillebrand, Gabriel D. Vine, and myself, and the Ugly Old Goat, and more, all on a cruise. Never been on a cruise before. Sounds like fun. I think it's a short one. So that's good in case I really don't like it, which is possible. So thanks to everybody for joining us. I was going to show the screen share of the Tally coin one more time. If you want to support the show, give us a thumbs up and a share. Be sure to subscribe down below. You can donate Bitcoin and Lightning with the QR code on your screen. We're still fundraising for gear, but if we finish the gear fundraiser, we might do a Europe tour fundraiser. Remember all the proof of work interviews. We have a new one coming out every week. Check out the one with Pavel from Trezor. Really interesting how he got his start. And we've been recording them while we're going on tour. So they're still coming out now. So, in a lot of ways, still benefit this tour.
When you fly, Bitcoin goes up. Like it's really phenomenal. It's one of these things that I didn't believe it at first. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to see more proof. I'm a very scientific kind of guy. And Thomas said it. I looked. Yep. Every time I look, up, up, up. So thank God you're flying again. I'm looking forward to it. So if you want Thomas to keep flying, donate right there. There's the QR code on your screen. And he delivers great content too. That's fantastic stuff.
You can also front run the market with your insider knowledge of the Mad Tour. You can leverage and all these trading tricks. And as long as you sell when you're in the profit, maybe you can donate some of those profits to the World Crypto Network. But you have the inside track now. You know the knowledge, and you found out for yourself. So thanks to everybody for donating, for joining us. We just had another donation. We're still 90% towards our goal. But thanks for joining. Thanks for watching us. We'll try to be back again next week, and we'll try to do some Bitcoin talk shows, some other stuff. We're trying out the new Zoom down here in the corner, Zoom. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
All the buttons.